Greetings. Today, the moon, the mood of the day continues in Leo, where we focus on self-expression and creativity, creative thinking, shining our light in the world. What does that look like for you? I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Monday, April 7th. And we are in the midst of some changing energies, some things that feel destabilizing at times. And it's hard to find that place of comfort and knowing how things work and knowing what you can count on. But of course, we are also in the midst of a great opportunity to create that new kind of stability. So we're creating the future. The mood of the day is in Leo. So we are focusing on how we can think creatively to work on the things and put ourselves out there in the ways and be seen in the ways that are going to help us move forward to create the kind of future that not only feels stable again, but also feels better, more functional, more exciting, more inspiring. So times of change are hard, right? And you can think of a time when, for yourself personally, you've been through something hard and you can't go to your old comforts. You can't do the thing that makes you feel secure or gives you that sense of control. And when that's not available to you, it feels very confusing and destabilizing in the moment, but also it is often the step that happens on the way to creating things in a new way, right? So in healthcare, they call this the new normal, right? Like after someone experiences a traumatic injury, they're not going to go back to their old life, but they are going to create a new life. And they can have that sense of self and that sense of who they are and what brings comfort and stability to their lives. It's just going to look different. And so, how can we think collectively about what we are creating and how that new normal could actually be better than the past that we come from? Yesterday, I was sharing about some big picture planetary changes, outer planets changing signs, Pluto coming full cycle from where it was during the Revolutionary War, and Neptune coming full cycle to where it was during the Civil War. So all these energies kind of piling on top of each other. And so that all adds up to sort of explain why things feel as significant and why things are changing in ways that are just sometimes hard to comprehend. It's hard to wrap your mind around it because it is that feeling of things not working the way they used to. And that change has been accelerating, right? It's been accelerating to a kind of a breaking point. And so, what does that breaking point look like? How are we going to think constructively and creatively about the future? So, anyway, I shared in depth about that yesterday. Definitely check out my video from Sunday, April 6th for more details about those big picture energies and what is changing. But bringing it back to the here and now, to the vibe for today, and Leo moon is a good time for expression. So it's a good time to engage yourself in creative projects and again, thinking creatively. So times of change mean that there's space opening up, right? There is room for things to be done in new ways. There is room for the thinking that could lead us to the future. And we've been talking about the Aries energy because we are in the Aries moon cycle that began with the Aries solar eclipse. And that itself is a significant time of focusing on the potency of Aries energy. And Aries is the sign of the warrior. It's the sign of action and courage and taking steps to move forward. So that's a fire sign. We're in a Leo moon, which is also a fire sign. And the themes of taking action, but also with this Leo energy, thinking about how you could bring what you have to offer, thinking creatively about how you could show up in your life, in your community, in your family. What is needed? Where do you see a need around you? And how can you step up and by being yourself, fill that need? So we have an opportunity to give a little thought and and a little trial and error also to themes of how we express ourselves, what we do, in what ways we find to share and shine our light in the world. And so give yourself that opportunity, that a little spark that says, hey, I've always been wanting to try this, or there's this project I've had in my mind. Maybe this is the time to start it, or to reach out and see if someone else is interested in doing it with you, or right, take that little action step that moves that thing forward and just see if that is something that wants to come to fruition or wants you to move it forward or take the next step. So that could be all kinds of different things. It could be your own creative work. It could be a way of being yourself, of telling your story, of having your voice in the world, of how you show up, right? How you show up in the everyday, day-to-day stuff, and what that looks like to just think about things a little bit differently, and maybe, just maybe, be a little bit more of yourself in your daily life. Show up, be a little quirky, be a little offbeat, be a little more of who you are. Stop censoring yourself, or find those places where you might be making yourself small, and just see what it feels like to let your guard down a little bit and shine as your authentic self, to say what you think and to say what is important to you, because that could also be part of the creative energy that helps to shape the future. And I always say that the future is, by definition, not known. So, think about that, right? When we go around with an attitude that things are really, feeling doomy or gloomy, or like the future isn't hopeful, it's dark, we're already deciding. We are pre-deciding to protect ourselves from that darkness or that gloominess, and that shuts down our ability to act. And when we just shift our attitude in the present moment and say, okay, well, if if the future were going to look bright, which maybe it might be hard to imagine, but if that were the case, what would I do? How would I think about my life right now? How would I do things differently? Would I try that thing that I'm interested in? Would I start that project? Would I take that next action step? Right? So maybe there's something speaking to you that needs your attention right now, thinking about self-expression and creativity with this Leo moon, as we work with these bigger picture energies that are inviting us to step more fully into our potential. Thank you for being here. I'm Marina Orms. I'm so excited to let you know about my new member platform. I shared about it yesterday, and I'm going to start talking about it, and I'm not going to stop, because I think that it's really important to come together and build places where we can lift each other up, support one another, learn, engage, think more deeply, think differently than some of the ways that we have done it in the past, maybe. So there's a free option. I am playing with it. It is a work in progress. Check out the member platform. There's a link in the description to this video. There is a free option. There is a minimal upgrade if you want to do the $5 a month version that gives you a little bit more perks. So check it out. And I'm going to be posting to let me know what you want to see, and maybe I'll have some questions for you. So we'll get started by engaging that way. I would love to see you there. So hopefully we'll be able to do that really soon. And thank you for being here. Thank you for signing up for my new member program and for subscribing to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.